Shalom. This is Obadiah here with Nothing But God 12, another edition of Uncovering Hebrew Roots. And today we're going to bring forth some more witnesses to debunk the false doctrine that Christ came and erased the bloodlines of the Israelites, and his blood that he shed created a spiritual body that he's coming back looking for. So they spread this false doctrine and said we don't need to worry about who's a physical Hebrew or who's a physical Israelite, because it's all about being a spiritual being and we're a spiritual body in Christ. But when we seek the scriptures, we find otherwise. So let's call our first witness to the stand, and we're going to find the first witness in the book of Deuteronomy. So you go to Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 18, and it says, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brothers, like unto you, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. So the Most High is telling Moses, I'm going to raise up another prophet like I did you for your brothers, the Israelites. I'm going to raise up another prophet for you. So there's no doubt that this prophecy is about the Israelites. But when we get to the New Testament, the church preached that Christ changed all these prophecies. So let's tie this in with Luke 7 and 16. So Luke 7 and 16, Christ does a miracle. And we'll start at the 12th verse. This is Luke 7 and 12. Now when he came nigh to the gate of the city, meaning Christ, behold, there was a dead man carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow, and much people of the city was with her. And when the Most High, or when Christ saw her, he had compassion on her, and said unto her, Weep not. And he came and touched the bier, and they that bare him stood still. And he said, Young man, I say unto you, arise. And he that was dead sat up and began to speak, and he delivered him to his mother. Verse 16, and there came a fear on all, and they glorified the Most High, saying that a great prophet is risen up among us, and that the Most High has visited his people. So I want you to pay special attention to these possessive nouns and these possessive words. It's saying that we read in Deuteronomy 18 and 18, the Most High promised to raise a prophet up among their brothers, meaning the Israelite brothers. In Luke 7 and 16, we see this prophet at work, and this prophet is the Messiah, and he is among his brothers. So when you read words like words in verse, where are we at? So this is Luke 7, and I started at verse 12. And if you go down to verse, where I'm at here, because when you're reading words like all and they, the church and these false prophets want to make you believe that it's all people. But when you right here, and they glorified the Most High, they is referring to those who were there, the Hebrews that Christ was around. They make you believe these words like they and our and all is referring to all mankind, but it's not, because Christ didn't go to all mankind when he was on earth. Christ only went to his brothers. So that's our first witnesses. We see the Most High promised to raise up a prophet like Moses for their brothers, among their brothers. And in Luke 7, we see the prophet being raised up is Christ himself. So let's move on to our second witness. And we find our second witness in the book of Psalms. Psalms 147 and 20. And we're going to read something here. And by the time we're done with these witnesses, it's going to be plain to you. So this is Psalms 147 and verse 20. And it reads like this. I'm starting at verse 19. He shows his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Most High. So if he only showed his statutes and judgments to the house of Israel, how could any foreign nations even know how to worship and how to please the Most High? It's an oxymoron. The other nations have no idea what the Most High expects out of them, except we, the Israelites, teach them and show them. But these scriptures don't say that. So let's match that with Malachi 4:4. We're going to precept this with Malachi 4:4, the very last book of the Old Testament. And we're going to tie it together with the New Testament. So this is Malachi 4:4. And it reads, "Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant." How can any other nation remember the law of Moses if they weren't given the law of Moses? It doesn't make sense. The false doctrine doesn't add up. But it continues on, "which I commanded him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and judgments." So he gave us more than just what they call laws. The word law is not even in the Hebrew vocabulary. We have a Torah, a way to live. We have guidance. So he gave us the Torah and statutes and ordinances, how we are to conduct ourselves in business and family matters and, of course, in worship. So, but my question is, Malachi 4:4 say, "Remember ye the law of Moses." How can a nation remember the law of Moses if they were never given the law of Moses? But they take you to the New Testament and they say when Christ came, he changed all of that. He changed everything the Most High set up. Well, let's see if we can prove that. So this is Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. And this is Christ speaking. It's in red in my Bible. This is Christ speaking. This is Matthew 5 and 17. Christ says, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law, or the prophets, I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill." Again, this is uncovering Hebrew roots. The Messiah was focused on his brothers. So if Christ tells these people, "I am not come to destroy the law," again, we just read it in Malachi 4:4. He says, "Remember the law of Moses." The law of Moses was not given to strange nations. The strange nations never learned the law of Moses. Now we have the Messiah himself on earth. He's telling the people, "I have not come to destroy the law or the prophets." Well, who were the prophets prophesying to? The prophets prophesied for the Most High, and he was prophesying to the Israelites.